what strategies have you guys had to utilize, but where were the struggles in being an entrepreneur as well?
Yeah, I would say two big things that people should think about before they even start doing things, and that's figure out what's your end goal. Where do you want to be? Where do you see yourself being? What is it just you just want to do this because you're having a good time? Is this a hobby? Do you want to be a millionaire? Do you want to win Grammys? What do you want to do? And then work your way backwards of what is the 3 month goal? What is the 6 month goal? What is the things I have to do right now to become consistent and disciplined? And I think a lot of people miss that. They just get fascinated with the idea of things and not really sit down and figure out the smaller things to get there. And then another thing that I think people don't think about is who you surround yourself around just every day is big. If you're surrounding yourself around people who's not motivated, who eats unhealthy, plays the game all day, how are you growing if you're not around anybody that's going to help you grow? So sometimes the people that surround you are the people that you're going to end up being like. So if you don't change your environment, that's already messing you up. And that's why we created a community to where if you stay in our community, if you come to our community, you're going to meet people that think just like you, and you're going to be like, hey, I can grow with you, or we can grow together, we can collab on something, and you can get so much further when you have a team or a community behind you that believe in you and that's pushing you every day to see like, where are you at? How can we hold you accountable to keep going?
Yeah, I'll say for me, definitely, like when I was starting out, a strategy that I had to use was, you have to make a decision. You have to pick something. You can't do everything. You can't try to be doing 4 and 5 different things at once, because then you'll never have enough focus to be able to have the depth and the breadth to be good at anything, And for a while, I like struggled with that because I did multiple things. I'm very multifaceted, but what I realized along the way was like you have to like niche down. You have to find that thing that's specific, and then that's the way that you'll be able to put enough volume into it to be able to see some sort of real result. Otherwise, you're just chasing after like thrills for every single thing. And there's a strategy that I learned recently. I don't know, they probably gonna laugh at me, but it's called uninformed optimism. And this is like a new thing that I'm sharing with all of the creatives now, which is like there's a path in life when you find something new and it seems like, oh, this person does this, I could do that too. And it seems so easy, like, oh, I'm better than this person, I could probably be better than them at doing that. And and they get started doing it, and it's uninformed optimism. So they're excited and they're going, and then eventually they get to a point where it starts getting hard, and that point is called informed pessimism. When you get to that point where you're like, okay, well, maybe this isn't as easy as I thought it was, or maybe I don't know if this is what I want to do. And then further along the way, sometimes what happens is people get into a point called the valley of despair, where they're like, okay, they're discouraged, the things that they've been trying haven't been working, and they're like, okay, well, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I just need to get a 9 to 5. And they start making those type of like judgments on themselves. But what they have to realize is, it's not going to be easy. They didn't expect it to be easy. And that's what hard is like sometimes. And on the other side of that is success, but they just have to continue to put in the volume, continue to learn, continue to make the changes. I think of Thomas Edison. It was like he had like a 10,000 or 1,000 different failures before he got like the perfect light bulb. And it was like if he had informed pessimism at some point, maybe at number 50 or 500, then we would not have electricity or have the light bulb. But he had to continue to go, keep trying. And I learned that failure isn't like a destination. It's payment towards your ignorance debt. And if you keep going and you keep learning from your mistakes, there's no way that you won't succeed. So uninformed optimism.
And to piggyback off of that light bulb thing, I think he said he didn't fail 1,000 times. He successfully found 1,000 ways that didn't work. So it's having that different mindset, like you were saying. But I think for me, the biggest thing I've learned, and a lot of my friends get mad at me or just don't understand how it works sometimes, because my sister, for instance, she'll have $1 million idea or a bright idea to make money, but I'm an executor. So, I don't need 100% perfection to start doing something. That's the biggest thing I think is hindering people, is they'll have an idea and they say, well, I need to have all my ducks in a row. I need to have this. And you need a good foundation. You need to have an idea where you're going, but don't get so caught up in all the minute details that you never start, because you're definitely never going to get to the finish line if you don't start. But once you make that first step, then you're a step closer to the finish line. But if you never make that first step, you're just going to stay there and you're never going to progress. And I think the second thing is be willing to learn, because we all have different specialties. Quintrel is a great photographer. I'm good at videography. Dwayne's good at music. but we've been learning each other's niches, and we've been sharing audiobooks and literature with each other, and always increasing. But if we walked into this saying, oh, it's nothing you can tell me about videography, I already know everything, then we're limiting ourselves, we're limiting what offerings we can offer other people, and staying in that small shell. And then the last thing I would say is make sure as an entrepreneur that whatever you're trying to sell, whatever service or product, you have to have a strong why behind it, similar to what Quintrel was saying. You have to know exactly why you're getting into something and be able to overtly demonstrate that, not necessarily by a blanket statement that you showcase or say every time you talk to somebody about your business, but it needs to kind of be an aura that radiates off of you. So when people think about Kre8 Spaces, sorry, apparently it's allergies in Dallas, but when people think about Kre8 Spaces, hopefully they associate us with trying to be a community, a hub for artists, a resource, not just an event space. Hopefully event space is tied in there, but they see us as a resource, a hub, a community first. And, all the other stuff is like secondary